Anyways, this is a pretty sad day for wrestling fans. Hulk Hogan is dead, and he died of a cardiac arrest. Pretty much now. Like, I know he's had many controversies before, such as not losing to smaller wrestlers, having a big ego. He's had his fair share of things like that, but his impact, not only in WWE, as well as TNA, and pretty much wrestling in general, is easily one of the most monumental and one of the most important in wrestling's entire history. He brought the WWF at the time from just a place with a couple house shows to pretty much one of the biggest events ever. Whether it was starring in many of the most iconic WrestleManias, fighting people like Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, the Macho Man, God bless all their souls. But yeah, he was one of the most pretty much iconic and revolutionary wrestlers. Wow, his fighting style was simple, basic. The crowd ate it up and loved that stuff. He was pretty much the 80s action movie hero turned into a wrestler, and everyone loved it. And later on, things happened, such as fan backlash, which later made him join the NWO, creating probably one of the biggest heel turns in the entire wrestling history in general, because nobody expected Hogan to become a bad guy. Then he helped carry WCW, and eventually, it was bought by WWE. But yeah, an iconic career with a guy who, while he had his many controversies, definitely his involvement in wrestling cannot be forgotten or brushed off, because he had one of the biggest impacts in bringing in so many wrestling fans that would probably never would have watched the product without him. Kids at the time that now have their own kids that now watch wrestling, and that's mainly because of probably watching Hogan, or if they're even older, Bruno Sammartino. But yeah, so this is a pretty sad loss, and it's one of those cases where I know WWE, this is something that WWE has to do something to tribute him at the end of his life and his legacy. I 100% know they're going to post something about him, because he's too big of a guy to kind of brush over. Like, kind of on the levels of people like Eddie Guerrero, Andre the Giant. He's pretty much even higher on top of that mountain of people that really brought wrestling to its caliber. Like, I know there's a lot of fans that may not like Hogan's for the things he done. I'm not telling you to brush it off and forget it, but I'm saying that you should recognize that he's done a lot for the wrestling business and pretty much a lot of things outside of it as well. Like, there's many kids who grew up admiring Hulk Hogan, saying their prayers, eating their vitamins, and all that stuff. Let me go here real quick. He died on 9:51 Thursday. Damn, so yeah, basically today, a few hours ago. Like, I found out about this so recently that I didn't even know. But yeah, whether you're a real American, a Hulkamaniac, sadly Hulkamania is over, and it's a big loss for the wrestling industry, and it's a very enormous loss for the wrestling industry. Like, he's the equivalent of someone who would be put on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, if that even was a thing. But yeah, that's all I had to say, and man, this was actually sad.